It's year 3 of these Halloween recommendations, and there's still a lot to go through. To catch you up on the lore, every year I watch a spooky something every night for the month of October, supplemented with games and such. Then I make a short video to bring my top 5 favorites back to you. So here's my arbitrarily numbered list for 2024.
So, why are you here?
Comedy horror is hard to do, but there are 2 items on this list that nail it. The first is Frankenstein's Monster's Monster, Frankenstein, clocking in at a mere half-hour runtime and starring that one guy from Stranger Things. Forgive the quality of my clips, I canceled Netflix once they added ads.
I don't understand. I don't understand either.
FM's MF is that flawless type of meta-story, leaning into awkward without tripping into cringe. It's a frame narrative about a son trying to learn about his father by studying his father's play, and wow, is it some play.
He read poetry.
I weep for Adonis.
We get to witness several scenes intercut with the modern paternal investigation, and the actors, the film's actors, not the play's actors, really nail that amateur theater kid aesthetic with their tiny blocking adjustments and overstepped lines.
Your mother is dying.
It's so good at being so bad on purpose without being uncomfortable. It's distilled fun. Also, Doc Ock is there.
The wet lashings, the freezing wind, the sting of the salt.
Now for something serious. Channel Zero is a horror anthology series, which means each season tells an entirely different story. It also switches out the directors and actors, keeping only some of the writers, as well as the composer and overall conceit of the series. So if you watched my previous recommendations and remember that show about the creepy teeth child, that was Season 1. Now it is my disturbed pleasure to bring you Season 2, No End House. You see, the premise of Channel Zero is that each season is based on a separate internet creepypasta. I know, it sounds fucking stupid, but somehow it's fucking amazing. No End House is a psychologically tormentive haunted house that moves mysteriously from town to town. There are 6 numbered rooms, each more frightening than the last, in that psychological horror way that I dig so much. And my god, the directing. I have never seen so much being said with so little. Any individual scene could be dissected in a film class. You like long takes? We got 'em. You like show don't tell? It's in every shot. And how about character depicted solely through body language and blocking? Do you even have to ask? The greatest thing about an anthology series is that it's not really possible to compare the seasons. Neither is better or worse, they're both just amazing. So if you want to know what I'm into, it's this. If you thought Stardew Valley was fun but could benefit from the inclusion of cannibalism, then you should probably keep that to yourself. But luckily for you, there's a game tailored to that specific taste. In Graveyard Keeper, there's farming and there's townfolk per usual, but it's a lot more about making your graveyard look pretty in a, let's say, morally gray game world. Here's a fun example of a typical gameplay loop. In order to pray for better crops, you have to make a book. You could just buy a book, or you could make pages by harvesting human skin, then craft ink by mixing in the ashes of a cremated corpse with the oil that comes from squeezing its human fat through a wine press. Games are wild. And aside from that, it's also a pretty fun game if you look past the design flaws. Nothing a few trips to the wiki can't fix. But the scariest part is definitely how atrocious the tutorial is. This is the quintessence of systems designed by a back-end dev. They're complex and interesting, but holy hell are they unintuitive and unexplained. Good fucking luck, I guess. That being said, I have played it for over 60 hours, and it lets me make beer, so... Try to grab it on sale, then play it for the aesthetic. I don't think there's really anything like it.
You guys, going camping?
Oh hey, here's that other comedy I promised. In case you didn't realize it, Alan Tudyk is the greatest gift Hollywood has ever given us. It's a hell of a range to go from A Leaf in the Wind to I hate running in fucking wingtips. In Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, he adds a new archetype into his repertoire when he plays half a pair of good-natured hillbillies stumbling through a fatal comedy of errors.
Is that your blood? Well, no, it's college kid blood.
The poor rednecks can do nothing to stop a group of young sexy co-eds from enacting all sorts of gruesome horror deaths upon themselves by dumb luck or by accident, which could have been avoided if they just hadn't judged these two lovable books by their somewhat unconventional covers.
Girls can smell fear. Now, come on. You are a good-looking man. More or less.
The titular characters are, colloquially speaking, a hoot and a holler to watch. If they made sequels with Tucker and Dale in various non-horror situations, I'd pay real money to watch it. As long as there weren't any ads.
We have had a doozy of a day.
A real doozy.
Watch this with friends, then quote it for the rest of your life.
No, I haven't seen anything, and I don't need to see anything, sir, but I can tell you. This shit is fucked.
Imagine running a campaign for a hypothetical Dead Space tabletop RPG, but the only characters to choose from are that kid-hating scientist from Jurassic Park, or an even younger Morpheus from The Matrix. The result wouldn't be too far off from Event Horizon, one of the best space horror movies this side of the first Alien film. Event Horizon is straight-up body horror, with plenty of psychological mindfucks to go around. Pair that with a time-tested storyline about a scientist who puts exploration above safety, and you've got a standalone cult classic from the 90s that's never been topped. The set designs are superb, the horror is visceral, and the acting is chef's kiss.
The ship's drive creates a gateway.
Yeah.
To what?
No notes. But its most refreshing contribution to fiction is one Captain Miller, who wins the award for greatest protagonist in a horror story ever by spending exactly 35 minutes of screen time aboard the haunted freighter before declaring,
Actually, fuck this.
Unfortunately, there's still half a movie after that. Good luck, guy. As always, I hope you found something new. And if you've got a recommendation for me, now that you've got a pretty good idea of my taste, please post it in a comment. It's always nice to know what I'll be watching 334 days from now.